So at 26 years old, I joined the union, and it's not the path that I thought I was going to take. I went to college, got a 4-year degree in business. I thought I was going to wear a suit and tie, work in San Francisco in an office, make $100,000 a year, or at least 6 figures, because that's what I was told. So I was told by my parents. That's what everybody told me, and that's what you want to do. And so I went and did that. Graduated, didn't work out, didn't like the job, so I jumped into the union at 26. And it was such a different mindset and work that I just did not ever expect I was going to be jumping into the union. I was a stationary engineer in Local 39 in San Francisco, and I went from working in an office to changing light bulbs and working on toilets, getting paid a lot of money to do it though. And it was a reality check for a while. And I'm happy that I did it at the time, but if I could change things at 26, which I'm now 37, I wish I never did it. And maybe there's a lot of valuable things that I learned that I wouldn't have learned if I went a different direction. But I'll tell you my quick experience and doing it and why I left. I went through 5 years of apprenticeship. So, 30, 31, I graduated, and I finally really started making good money. It was like probably 150, 160 grand at the time. This was about 6 years ago, which was good money for being 30 years old. And, I kind of found myself through the process, like I'm working in this building, I'm continuously on a repetitive cycle. It's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I wake up, I go clock in, I do my 8, and I skate. And I had other things that I did on the side. I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset and that spirit. But I just felt empty after a time. You get a raise, you get another raise, and it's the same shit. What's another 2-3 grand a year going to do for you? It's not really going to do much. It's keeping up with inflation, if anything. And so I graduated my apprenticeship, went into a journeyman, and then went right into a chief engineer, which is like the highest level that you can make. I was almost making 200 grand a year. I did that for 3 years, and I started to feel really empty at work. And I valued the customers that I helped and the people that I associated with in the building. But I just started to feel like, dude, there's got to be more to life. There's got to be more to life than sitting in this building or sitting in that desk or being complacent in a 9 to 5 job. Some people like it. I enjoyed the ride, but I didn't want to do that journey forever. And so I remember the day that I had a really good job and I put my 2-week notice in. And it's very rare people leave the union because people strive their whole life to get into the union, usually about 5 to 10 years. And some people get in when they're 35, some people get in when they're 40. I was fortunate to do it when in my mid-20s. And I only got in because I knew somebody. It wasn't like I applied and they just said, yeah, we'll take you. It doesn't work like that. You got to know somebody, a guy, that kind of thing. And I remember putting my 2 weeks notice in and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I have no other work experience. I can't go put a suit and tie on and jump into that workforce. But I will tell you the growth that I got from doing that and the mindset shift that I got where I was like, I'm outside of this job where I literally showed up, I sat around, wait for something to happen, did my rounds, talked to the same people every day. It's like you're just in this repeat cycle. So I ended up getting a job as a contractor selling HVAC equipment to someone like me who used to work in the union. And that worked out for about a year. And I actually ended up getting fired from that job because somebody there didn't like me. And I was like, fuck, what am I doing? What am I going to do? I'm 35 years old. I just got fired. I can go back to the union, but I don't want to go back to the union. I don't want to do that. So this is where it gets interesting, and this is where when you start pressing yourself and you put yourself in situations that you normally would not have been in, that is where you start to use your mind, and that's where you start thinking and you start to get creative. And I noticed that entrepreneurial spirit started taking over, and it's like, you got to do something, man. You got a mortgage, you got bills you got to pay, you got a car payment. I had a girlfriend who's now my fiance at the time. I have people I have to look out for, my mom and my dad. And so then I got into online fitness coaching, and that was a hard breakthrough. I really never had done social media. In fact, this is one of the first YouTube videos that I've actually done long form content on. And I'm fine on camera. I don't mind talking about myself and my downfalls, but I started to see people make money with online fitness, and it's something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's something I've never given up. I've always worked out my whole life. It didn't matter what breakup I was going through, if I got fired, if I lost a bunch of money, and I have lost a lot of money in bad business deals in my life. I still showed up for the gym, and I never cared. I just said, fuck my feelings. I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do what I know I need to do, and that's what's gonna happen. And I started getting a lot of people ask me for advice. And like, hey, what do you eat? What's your mindset like? How do you just fucking grind it out so much? So I started getting into online fitness coaching, and it's been a slow progress, but I'm thankful for it. I've met a lot of good people. It's a nice little side income, which I hope to increase more as it comes. And then I started thinking, this 9-to-5 thing is just, it is the Golden Handcuffs. And it works for some people. It actually works for most people, because most people do not have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. It is brutal. You make very little money in the beginning, and if I made a lot of money in the beginning, I probably wouldn't know what to do with it. I probably would have fucked it off, blown it all. So I'm actually happy that I haven't just gotten loads of money come in, because you have to earn the money. You have to respect the money. You have to understand how to use money, and if you don't, you will lose it. That's exactly how I lost over $400,000 in bad investments, because I wasn't smart with my money. I was just frivolously investing in things. So, I get back to the Golden Handcuffs statement, because I want a lot of younger people to really focus. When I say younger, I mean in your mid-20s, because you don't have a lot of responsibilities then. And maybe some do. Some might have more than I do. But as you get older, you just have more stuff on your plate. And it becomes harder and harder to break that cycle of venturing out, taking risks, investing in certain things, investing your time, seeing what you like. And now at 37, I've realized that what I thought I liked is actually not what I like. I was just floating at different jobs, getting a paycheck, but I always had that in the back of my head, like, dude, there's gotta be something more. This isn't a 30-year sentence, which I say a 30-year sentence is you work for 30 years, then you retire, then you live your life. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. I'd rather strive my whole life to do something else and hopefully make it than do that. And that works for some people, but that shit ain't for me. It's never been for me. And I've noticed that because every job I've done, I've never given it 110%. I've always been like, yeah, this is just temporarily. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do something else. But what is that else, right? So I've chosen real estate, particularly short-term rentals and commercial. And I've opened up more to doing online fitness and doing more podcasts, doing more talking online, and just telling people about the troubles and the stuff that I've been through, because I think a lot of people get caught up in the moment. They just think, I'm going to do what everybody else does. This is the path that most people go. I'm going to do it. I got this great job. And there's nothing wrong with a great job, but I will tell you that a good job, a really good job that has the Golden Handcuffs on, will pay you just enough money to where you can go to dinners you want, maybe buy a nice car, pay your rent or your mortgage, travel a little bit, and then you come right back to work. And that's it. And they keep you where you want. And that's what the union was. The union pays you just enough. They give you good benefits. They give you a pension. They give you no reason to leave. If you drink that fucking Kool-Aid, I couldn't do it. And there's no disrespect to any of my union workers that are watching this video. It's a great profession to be in. I just couldn't do that and wake up at 60 and realize, what have I done? I've just worked at this job. I've worked for somebody else, making somebody else rich. Now, I don't make as much money as I made in the union. My job right now doesn't pay me as much. And it's mostly because I'm remote, because I was like, I'm not going back to an office. But I can tell you, I'm so much healthier. I'm in crazy good shape. I get to do what I want when I want. I would take less money for a happier lifestyle and a better mindset. I absolutely would. And I think that's so important for people to think about when they're young and at any age, is don't get caught up on the money. Make sure it's something that you want to do, that you're going to be happy about. And put your health before everything. Because if you don't, you're going to have to pay for it later. And your body will tell you, hey man, we can't do this shit like we used to do anymore. Or you're kind of fucked up because you partied all the time. Or you didn't eat the right foods. You didn't work out. You're fat. You're overweight now. That's a whole nother level of a place that I would never want to go. But if you're there, you can make a change. You absolutely can. So this was just a rant on the park bench on a beautiful Sunday. Let me know what you guys think. You got any questions? 9 to 5, investments, fitness, whatever. Let me know. I can make another video. I could talk all day about this shit. Later.